The Stockholm side of Hammarby leads Damallsvenskan after 7 rounds. 6 wins, 1 loss. One important thing in every football team is the defense. You need good defenders and you need a good goalkeeper. Hammarby's goalkeeper is the Finnish international Anna Tamminen. She has started out in Finland years ago, playing for the club of Nice Futis, went then to Sweden to Hovås Billdal, back to Finland to Åland United, then back to Sweden to Hammarby, and now she is one of the best goalkeepers in the league. And to answer a lot of questions about her career and other things, Anna Tamminen joins me now. Hey, Anna Tamminen
Hey.
from Hammarby EF. You're from Finland, but you're playing in Sweden.
Yes.
I thought of let you tell you a story a little bit of football. You grew up in Turku, which is in the
Yes.
south western part of Finland, but then
Yeah.
you played in Pori for a club called Nice Futis.
Yes.
What do you remember of that time in Pori?
Uh, when I got called from Nice for this, they were in the end of the season and their goalie got injured, so they called me. I played in the second highest division in Finland then, and I was just playing for fun. But I was like, of course, I will take this chance and like try the highest league in Finland. Like I never had any big goals in football. I have been just playing because I really enjoy. But yeah, so it was quite big of a step to go to Nice Futis, and they were fighting against relegation, and we managed the first year, but then the second year we dropped out. But yeah, it was quite big of a change for me at that time. But anyway, it kind of uh, got me more into like trying my own limits, and it was really cool to play the highest league and against like players who I've been looking up for. um so yeah, it was tough time since we were in the bottom, but at least I got to show what I can do, and I think it teach me a lot.
At that time, were you already did you have decided that you want to make as much as possible within football, or was it
No,
no?
no, I actually most of the time I lived in Turku. I was
Hmm.
studying physiotherapy, and I was just like I was studying, I was playing. In the weekends I traveled to Pori, and I spent the weekends there basically, and I was practicing mostly in Turku. So it wasn't really like a professional life
Hmm.
in any sense. It was more like I was preparing myself for a, well, it's maybe stupid to say, but in like for a normal life, for a
Hmm.
normal job in that sense. uh yeah, I thought that I will graduate from physiotherapy and start working in a hospital or something. So
So
yeah,
at that time, football was like a hobby for you, but
yeah,
on a high level.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm. But when did you make the decision to go further and to?
It happened after we had relegated with Nice for this. I didn't actually find a club in Finland that suited me, and at that time it was a little bit like, oh, what should I do? Like, should I go back to a lower level, or like I didn't know what to do. But I got contacted from Sweden, from Hovås Billdal. They were playing Elitetan. um so I think that was the point where I decided like, okay, I will go for it, because I left my life in Finland behind and I moved to Gothenburg. So I would say that is the point when I decide to like try it and put all effort.
Hmm. But that was a pretty tough year because you finished last in Elite Etan, 14th and
Yes.
last, and you received like 67 goals and 26 games,
Yeah.
which I think is pretty good because you lost 20 games and you only got 67 goals against you. That's
Yeah.
not so dangerous, I think. But how is it to play when you only win one game and you lose 20? I always ask myself, how do people cope?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. In my mind, it's a dark year. It was really rough.
Hmm.
We had a really young team, and I was one of the older ones, and I was like I think 23 at that time.
Hmm.
Uh, and yeah, it was like I really tried to focus on that year, like only on the positive parts, and like if there was a one goal that I saved, that was positive. but it was really, really hard. I think I was crying after every game because it was just like, it was devastating to lose every game.
I once spoke to Ifeoma Diki, who played for EFK Kalmar a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
She's a Scottish international, and I think she's 38 or 39 years and has finished playing. And I asked her, how do you cope? Because they had lost like 22 games the whole
Yeah.
season. They lost every week. And she said, we are learning. Each and every week we are learning, even when we lose.
Yeah.
Would you agree? Or
No, not at that time at least. I
okay.
can see it now, like afterwards. I can see that I learned a lot.
Mm.
And I think like, especially mentally, I've been growing so much during that year. So, but at that time, I think I couldn't have been like above that and see that as a learning process.
Mm.
But yeah, afterwards, I can say that.
Well, on the other hand, you get a lot of shots against you,
Yeah.
and you have a lot of saves to make. So that must be positive for a goalkeeper, not
Yeah,
in
it
the
is.
feeling you have at the time, but afterwards.
Yeah, it is. But it's also hard, like when the other teams are so much better than your team, so that the shots and all of the attacks come like pretty random since your own system isn't working that well. Like if I compare now with Hammarby, I know like what kind of shots I'm gonna get against
Mm.
me most of the time. Of course, sometimes it happens. Also like some random stuff, but at that time it was just like it could come whatever.
Mm. Yeah,
So yeah,
many years ago, I talked to your goalkeeper coach, Sofia Lundgren, when she was still
yeah,
active in Umeå IK. And I asked her, because they were like winning every game like 15 years ago. Umeå
mm,
was the best team in Europe,
yeah,
and they were winning like 5-0 every game. And I asked her, is that fun for you to play when you lead? You know,
mm,
at halftime, we're going to lead like 4-0. And
exactly.
yeah, she was like a little bit undecided about that, I think, as
Mm,
a goalkeeper.
yeah, I think it is hard. Like you don't really want to be in that bottom team because that's like devastating.
Mm,
But you don't want to be either in a team that you win every game. Like
mm.
what can I think about?
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Mm, mm,
Yeah. So I don't think I will like that. But I think right now in Damallsvenskan we have a situation where it's like it's quite many tight games anyway. Like yeah, we won Kalmar 8-0. Yeah, it wasn't a fun game for me.
mm,
No. Like to be standing there. Of course, it's like I'm enjoying when my team is doing good, but for myself, no. But we have so many games that we
mm.
really need to push ourselves, and I need to be at my best also.
Yeah, I talked to Zecira Mušović. I think
Yeah,
that's hopefully the way she pronounces herself.
yeah,
Some years ago when she played for Rosengård, and I asked her the same question, and she said, "I have to be ready like 90 minutes for maybe the one or two shots that might
yeah,
come, and so I have to be alert all of the time,
yeah.
for that shot might come."
That is how
So,
it is.
so
Like
you
you need
can't
to
stand
find
there
a
and read
way
a book
to
or
like
something.
keep. Yeah, exactly. No.
Oh, that's impossible. But then
Yeah.
you went to Åland from Hovås Billdal
Yes.
to Åland United, which is a very
Yeah.
interesting team.
Yeah.
I saw they have the same coach, Jim Beeks. I think what's his name?
It's
Steve
Steve
Beeks.
Biggs. It's Steve Biggs they have right
Since
now, but we had Samuel
okay,
Fagerholm.
okay.
Yeah.
But
Uh.
there you won your first title. You became the
Yes.
Finnish champion and cup
Yes.
winner, and you were
Yes.
elected twice the goalkeeper of the. So that is
3 times.
when people really oh 3 times when
Yeah.
people really notice you everywhere, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I got back from Gothenburg then, and I felt like I was kind of coming halfway home since Åland is on the way to Turku. And yeah, I think it was my first year in Åland. Like after maybe half year in Åland, I got called up first time for the national team, and yeah, I just had like I think we had a really good group, and it was the first time I could really focus 100% like only playing football.
Hmm.
Like they could provide me that kind of environment, and yeah, it was just like year by year we got better and better. First year we got bronze, the second year bronze, and that year we also lost the cup final. And then the year after we got the double gold. So it was like a 3-year process, I see it as.
Hmm.
And after that the team kind of split a little. Like now there isn't really, there's maybe like what could I say, 1 or 2 players who I've been playing with. So yeah, it was like a 3-year process, and I think that was really good for me to be a little bit closer home. And I really had a good goalie coach, and like the whole atmosphere in the team was that everyone wants to get better, and like they could provide morning sessions, and like everything was so much better than what I had before that.
It was like only 5 hours with the ferry to Turku, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Something like that. But how is it to live on that island? I mean, I passed it very many times when I went with a ferry from Finland to Sweden or vice versa. But you lived actually on an island, a small island, for 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's amazing in Åland. Of course, everyone says like, especially in the summertime, it's really pretty. But it's also like it's a small community, and football is pretty big part of it. So it was kind of like to feel yourself a little bit famous. You know, you're at the local newspaper, and people can come and talk to you on the street, and like that people really live it with you. And I think Åland people are just like really, really nice and friendly. So yeah, it's a small community, but it was really nice 3 years that I had there, and it's kind of like safe environment. And I think it was good for me after being like first time abroad in a big city. So it was a big change, but I really enjoyed my time in Åland.
Yeah, small community. It's a small community with like 30,000 people or something.
Yeah.
I was in southern Lapland this week in Vilhelmina, also a very small community, and I also realized that small communities are very welcoming, and they are very talkative. They want to talk to you.
Exactly.
And of course, if somebody like you, if you play for a football team, people realize you and they recognize you, and it must be kind of funny.
Yeah, it is.
Then you played Hammarby in a pre-game before the pandemic hit in February 2020, 1 month before everything changed. And they must have liked you.
Yeah, apparently.
So did they approach you already shortly after that game, or when did that happen?
No, I haven't heard. I didn't heard anything from them. Like only thing I remember from that game is like they had some crazy fans with them with the flag, and I thought like, what is this? Like, I think it was crazy. Like, you're coming to Åland, you need to take the boat. Like, what are you doing here? But yeah, that's what I remember from that game, and that they were good. I think I did a good game. It ended like maybe 2-2 or 1-1 or something like that.
1-1.
Yeah. I remember that I did a good game, and yeah, but no, I didn't hear anything from them until end of. Is it that season then? Yes, because I
mean, you signed your contract in December too, according to the homepage.
Yeah. I heard first time maybe like in October or something like that. So not like straight after or anything.
But was that an easy decision then for you to say, okay, I'll go to Stockholm, I want to play for that team?
Yeah, yes and no. I was a little bit like, since my experience from Sweden was a little bit not so positive, I was a little bit like insecure about going for a team that has just got up. That was my first thoughts, like, is it gonna be again like 60 goals against me? But yeah, then I was talking with Pablo, and I talked also with the coach that I had in Åland, because he knows more about like Swedish football. And yeah, I just talked with people close to me. So I wouldn't say that it was an easy decision, but in the end, yeah, it was. Like, also the head coach from the national team was like recommending that to me, like, yeah, I think it could be a good place for you. Then I'm like, yeah, let's go.
And did you expect how that would develop? Because now you are leading Damallsvenskan after like 7 rounds in 2023, and it's one of the hottest teams in the league, with BK Häcken, obviously, from Gothenburg.
Yeah. No, not at all. I think it's crazy how fast everything has gone. Like, we did a really good first half of the season on our first season, but yeah, I did not expect it to like develop this fast. No, not at all. But now it feels like in some kind of way it still feels normal, because we have such a good players. Yeah.
And how would you describe the style of play that Hammarby does?
We really like to have the ball and play the ball fast with a few touches, and like to combine with each other and create a lot of chances.
You have so many young talents also in that team, like Maika Hamano from Japan.
Yes.
She's not, I think she doesn't speak much English, but she's communicating a lot with gestures and smiles and things like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, she's amazing. Like, she's really good football player, but also like as a person, it's like amazing. I'm really sad that she don't know more English, because I think she would, yeah, maybe she will be talking nonstop. I don't know. But yeah, she's like, she's super nice and really polite for everyone, and really tries to communicate also. Sometimes it's Google Translate or whatever, but yeah, I think she's also getting better and better every day.
Is English your first language on the team now with so many foreign players? Like,
Yeah, we have like all the meetings and practice in English, but yeah, in the players group, if I'm talking with the Swedish speaker, we talk Swedish, but like the bigger things, we have everything in English.
and how far are you now running for the championship, or what kind of goals do you have as a team?
Yeah, yeah, we're going for the gold.
Going for the gold. Okay. I don't know if you have any experience with artificial intelligence.
No.
I made some because I asked ChatGPT, which is one of those machines where you can
Yeah.
do a lot of things, and I asked ChatGPT for some questions for you, and
Okay.
I think they were pretty interesting because I wanted to have some surprising interview questions here.
Okay.
The first one I think is very easy. If you weren't a football player, what career would you have pursued? You
No,
already
that's
said
not the easy. That's not
it's
an
not
easy
easy.
question.
Okay.
No. That is actually a really hard question that I would like to have the answer to,
Hmm.
because I have no idea.
Okay. But you started as a physiotherapist. That was
Yeah,
your.
yeah, yeah. I have graduated, so I
Hmm.
have that education behind me. But I would like to work in sports in some way, like be a team leader, or not a coach, but work in some club. It doesn't need to be even football. I would like to be involved in sports.
Hmm. And here is what is the most unexpected thing you've learned about yourself through playing football?
Oi. Um, I would say maybe like how big of effect does like the mental part have in sports.
Hmm. Yeah, that's absolutely right. That's a very interesting question answer
Yeah.
actually, because I think there's so much analysis now in modern football. Like they're
Mm.
doing computer simulations and how much does Anna Tamminen run and where is she running, and they
Yeah.
make like these diagrams. But I also think it could be useful. But on the other hand, I think that the most important thing is still the mental thing.
Exactly.
You're going to meet Pitio on Sunday, right?
Yes, Sunday.
And Pitio had a very good start to the season also,
Mm-hmm.
like you did.
Yeah.
And no one expected them to have a good start,
Yeah.
actually. But
Yeah.
I think that because they have a good start, they have a run, and that keeps them going and going and makes them very
Mm-hmm.
dangerous for you as well. So
Yeah.
that's my theory, at least, that the mental part is enormously important.
Exactly.
Like if you lose the first game 0-6, then you will have problems for a couple of weeks to come.
You need to really like somehow try to get out of it. But when you're in the flow, of course, it's easier. Like as we have been in the flow, like before we lost to Häcken, it was
Mm,
a long time since we have lost a
mm.
competition game. But yeah, that's when the mental part comes also, like how you handle when you suddenly lose and things doesn't go as you're expecting.
What did you talk after the loss to Häcken? You have to go on a bus or on a train back home, and there's some
Yeah.
hours, and you have to deal with that loss. And how did you manage
Mm,
to get over it?
I mean, after every game, we're gathering in the locker room, and usually Pablo is saying a few words, and everyone can share their like feelings and thoughts. So of course everyone was really disappointed, since we didn't really got into our own level at any part of the game. but we could still step up from the first half. So that was like the positive part. But yeah, it was really tough. It was quite quiet in the busway home. And I think most of the people were sleeping, since it was quite late already. Yeah, and then we got a day off, and after that we did like the analysis with videos and stuff. But yeah, disappointment, since we had the feeling that we should have done so much better.
But on the other hand, it's like you said, there's a great competition now in Damallsvenskan, and my view is that a couple of years ago we had some teams that could compete in Europe. Now we don't have a team that can compete in Europe with Barcelona or Chelsea, but we have a top of like 5 teams now where you don't know how games will end, and this is something new. And the standard in women's football has gotten so much better over the years. Like when you think back of your time in Finland, there must have been an enormous development around you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree.
There's one more question here from the AI, and that's interesting as well. If you could design a new rule or change an existing rule in football, what would it be?
Oi. That is a hard question also. I don't know.
What do you think about hands? I mean,
I started to think that, because I think that's an interesting rules on that. Like, I think it's weird. Like, if you play it yourself onto your own hand, it's not a handball.
I think it's weird that many players now have to put their arms behind their backs in order to be afraid, because they're so afraid that something.
Yeah. But then on the other hand, I was thinking like players are a lot of, like, playing with their heads, and I don't know. I think lately has been like they have raised a lot of awareness on the like head injuries. But I don't know, like I don't know if I would like to change anything on that, but somehow like to become more safe, like heading the ball. Like there's so many players who have issues, and I think it's really scary when you get many hits on your head and like concussions and all that. Like it can affect your rest of your life, not only career. But I don't know how to like change it.
That doesn't sound so easy. But
yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of talk about ACL injuries now also in women's football. Do you have any explanation why there are so many? Is it because you play more games than ever before? The more and more games?
Yeah, I mean, there's also like one of my close friends is suffering right now from an ACL injury, and like everything what has happened in Arsenal and all that. So of course I have been thinking about it, and the natural reason would be that there is so much more games right now. But I don't know. I wish that I had the answer to that question. I think there's many people who would like to find out the reason. But I don't know.
And here's another interesting one. I thought, if you could swap positions with any player on your team, who would it be and why?
It's funny that this question came up, because I was just talking with our other goalie today. Like she was asking me, which position would you play if you were not a goalie? And I said that I would be a winger.
Okay.
So maybe I would switch places with our right wing, because I think it's really fun that they get to be such a like big part of the game, both offense and defense. But also I think like in our way of playing, our central defenders have a nice role. So maybe I would say that I would switch places with Alice Carlson, our captain.
How would she be as a goalkeeper?
Oh yeah, I did not think about that. She would be amazing. No, I really don't think she would be good as a goalie.
Have you always been a goalkeeper in your career, or have you played different as a child?
It was like one summer, I don't know, maybe I was like 15,
Mm.
that I played as a central defender, and I think it was fun. And then I've been always playing like the winter time. We played with my home club, futsal. So in futsal, I was never a goalie. Yeah, I think it's kind of nice and funny to be an outfield player. It feels like a different sport.
Yeah, it feels you have different training today. Like
Yeah,
25 years ago, it was everybody trained the same, I guess, or 30
yeah,
years ago. Now it's
yeah,
totally different. But you also have a very exposed role because
yeah.
like when you are a forward, you can have like 4 chances and
Hmm.
3 of them go into the sky, but you score
Yeah,
1 goal, then you're still a hero,
exactly.
maybe. But if you have like 4 shots on your goal, you make 3 saves, but 1 ball goes in, then you're
Yeah,
sort of the culprit, the
yeah,
scapegoat. There's a
yeah.
lot of responsibility.
It is. It is. But yeah, it's also like if you save that 4 shots against you, you can be the one who saves the team also.
Yeah.
So I think that's also about mindset.
But do you need more mental strength than somebody who plays on the pitch outside the goal?
I will maybe say so. Yeah, because you're kind of, in a way, you're really alone inside the team, even though I think my teammates are amazing and like supporting me
Yeah.
and all that. But in a game, you can be really alone and exposed, as you say. um yeah, so I think goalies need a little bit a different kind of mental state and, yeah, mental toughness.
And also competition is harder because you compete
Mhm.
only for one spot. I mean, if you are like a
Exactly.
winger, you might
Yeah.
even play central midfield if you don't place as a winger. So you always have a
Mm.
chance to have another position. But as a goalkeeper, it's only
Yeah.
this one position you're
Yeah,
competing
and
for.
also like as an outfield player, you can get, even though you're not starting, you can get subbed in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but as a goal, it's like either you start or you're on the bench, and it's not many teams who switch goalies that often. So yeah, it is hard.
Actually, as someone from the outside, why is that so that goalkeepers play like 90 minutes? And for example, it could be in a that you have a second goalkeeper and I want her to play a little bit more.
Mm.
So I say I give
Mm.
her 45 minutes or something as a
Mm.
coach. But nobody
Yeah,
does that. That's practically not happening
yeah,
in
it
football.
it does never happen actually. I don't know. That's a good question. You should ask that from the coaches.
Yeah, I will do that. Thank you very much, Anna. It was cool to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
You too.